Hi, everyone. Welcome to our 2025 Vibrant Living, a online virtual summit that we hope to reach out to the world. My name is Angela Porgist, and I am very blessed to be the moderator for our guest speaker, Dr. Maxine McLean, today. Let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Maxine. Dr. Maxine McLean is a visionary leader, inspirational figure, passionately empowering others to reach their potential. She's the founder of Gratitude Keeper, which is a registered trademark. She's a health coach, author, speaker, inspired medicine healing facilitator and educator, and creative entrepreneur. Honored with the Blue Seal Award for writing and named one of Canada's 100 Black women to honor. She also received the Eminence Award for humanitarian work. She's developed innovative approaches to wellness and self-improvement, including vibe therapy, fingerprint inspirations, which is today's topic. A groundbreaking modality, this vibe therapy fingerprint inspirations, it harnesses the power of neuroplasticity. Additionally, Dr. Maxine provides clean water access to rural families, promoting transformation in a peace and a better life. So welcome, Dr. Maxine McLean.
Angela,
Welcome
that
to
was
our
beautiful.
summit.
That was beautiful. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So tell us about this vibe therapy. What is it? Vibe therapy fingerprint inspirations.
Vibe therapy fingerprint inspiration is the ability to help individuals with messages and stories and inspirations just to tweak their brain, to shift their perspective from negative to positive, to help them with an inspiration for the day, for the week, for the month. Okay. But basically, it's to help that switch. We're bombarded on a daily basis with negativity. And sometimes it's very difficult to make that switch on our own. So we fall in this little groove of thinking negative, and sometimes that can grow. And when you continually repeat that negativity, then the cells of our body, that's the message they're getting, right? They operate on that cellular level, and then it will manifest eventually on the physical. So would you like to see what vibe therapy is all about?
Yeah, before you do that, actually, that's really interesting. One of our other speakers, Elmarinda Amaro, will be speaking about who you are and why you here. And she mentioned there's a Harvard study in her interview that we have 40,000 thoughts a day, which works out to be like 1.5 thought per second.
Mhm,
And you mentioned about so many thoughts that we are bombarded with. If it's a positive thought
mhm.
and we have 40,000 of them, imagine that compared to 1.5 second, every thought is a negative thought.
Well, they're
Wow.
they're the thoughts that we are aware of, and the thoughts we're not aware of that just keeps coming at us. And how does that happen? Well, we watch the news, we listen to music, and there are the underlined in messages that comes through music. Listen to the news, watching movies, all these different things, and those thought patterns can come through and create havoc in our brains and
Yes.
our body.
Well, that's advertising, right? Advertising actually works so subconsciously. We
Yes,
see we see them and then we want to get that Coke or get that pop or get
right.
that food.
Years ago when I had taken nursing, and we had a class actually that showed us about, the underlining messages of advertising, we were totally, totally shocked at what we saw. Yeah, you cut out a picture and you didn't realize, oh my gosh, wow, all these underlining messages, these subliminal messages are very powerful, and they're in everything. That's the art of
And
advertising.
that's right. And models, we think we are fat, we think we are too thin. Where did that come from, right?
Exactly. We're conditioned. Yeah, we're
Hmm.
conditioned through these messages. So And then, you know, these messages, we can take these messages, we've listened to them, we've seen them, so they can either develop positive thought patterns, or we can allow them to develop negative thought patterns, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. Yeah, do show us. I know you took time to prepare some slides for today's interviews. So what do you have for us?
Absolutely. So here's our slide. There we go. That's our Vibe Therapy Fingerprint Inspirations, fueling a revolution in mental and whole body wellness. Can you see that?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And I love the way you did the vibe with the heart.
Oh, yes. You know,
Gorgeous.
initially when I did that, I was hoping, I looked at it from so many different angles, hoping that yes, they've got the heart. They've got the heart, you know? So yes, it's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was reading your bio, I think a lot of our audience didn't know. I they obviously know you do many things, but you are such an incredible artist on top of everything else. So this is awesome. Now
Thank
tell
you.
us a little bit about the fingerprint inspirations, the neuroplasticity you talked about. Maybe, yeah, yeah, what can we do? Yes, what can we do to help people to work out these questions in their heads and be able to tap into a change, a shift towards positivity?
But I think being intentional about our thoughts and actions, and fingerprint inspirations helps us to reframe our perspectives, okay? And engage in activities that nourishes the mind and encourages us to forgive and let go. Forgiveness is a very difficult one. I think um, it's a very powerful thing, and it's not easy. It's not
You're
easy.
right. You're right. Because I think that was one of the things that we would love in our Vibrant Living Summit to have a topic on forgiveness. I think, like you say, it's a very difficult one.
You know, I had a patient once, and I had to scan her body to see exactly where the issues were. And when I got, my hand was like about maybe 14 inches over her abdomen. I'm going down the line. And when I got to her abdomen in mid-air, I hit into a brick wall. And it totally blew my mind. It shocked me. And I did it again, hit into a brick wall, did it again in a brick right over her abdomen. And so, you know, I worked on her for a while. We were able to clear those energies, but that was what cemented it for me, that this energy, the energy patterns, our thoughts on forgiveness, our activities creates these energy patterns that blocks our chakras, which we'll go to later. We'll go to later and see some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Can you maybe move on and show us why it is called vibe therapy?
I can do that. So
There
it's a
you
part,
go.
yeah, because vibrations really is a part of our world. Everything operates on vibrations, right? So therapy, it's, you know, when I was wondering what to call it, I realized I, I couldn't call it a practice. It was more a therapy, because you practice it on a daily basis, and it helps to reposition your thoughts. It helps to alleviate anxiety. It helps to alleviate depression, and it helps you to feel more confidence, more inspired, motivated. And so that's why it's called Vibe Therapy Fingerprint Inspirations. And fingerprint inspirations really is that we each have our own fingerprints. So 5 or 10 or 15 people may get the same card, and they're going to get a different message, even though the reading is the same. That vibration is going to be totally different.
Yeah, that was mind-boggling because I had the privilege of experiencing a game, which was if you can it was a deck of cards like this. This is the success deck,
Right, right,
and we were playing around with it. So it's got a little manual, and
right,
then it's got
right.
this deck of cards in there, right? And we were there were about 8 of us around the table. So we would shuffle at each when it's our turn and pull out the card. And out of 8 of us, I believe half of us pulled out exactly the same card. Despite all the shuffling, it keeps coming up, and yet the message for each person, even though the message has the same words, the
Mhm.
interpretation is very different. And this speaks to what you have up here on this slide. Um, Everything operates on vibration, right? Like you were
Right.
saying.
Hmm.
And the practice or on a regular basis reinforces these vibrations.
Right.
Reading words can shift these vibrations. I would love to jump in to ask you to share about neuroplasticity at this stage, because actually sometimes people who underwent trauma to their brain, could be an accident, could be whatever,
Hmm.
um, that they have to relearn. It's actually not a bad thing.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, according to the research, neuroplasticity is a fancy term of basically stating the brain's ability to learn and adapt, right? So if you think back to when you were a child and you were learning the alphabet, your ABC, your one, two, threes, right? You didn't learn it today, and then 2 months later, you went back to it again, right?
Right.
It was a daily ritual. Well, I call it a ritual because it was such a repeat, but you can look at it also as a therapy. That daily therapy of learning the alphabet, the daily therapy of learning to count, to subtract, to multiply. And then you're in school now, you're at school age now, and when you go to school, you're having to apply all of that therapy of learning when you were younger. Does that make sense?
So, oh yeah, just like say for example, you have 4 of these decks that you'll show
Right.
us later. I'm
Yes.
pulling out the success deck right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know you've got a special tip about on your website to breathe and set the intention,
Right.
but I'm just going to just shuffle, and this is the one that jumps out at me. There is always a sunrise and a sunset. Breathe easy, but it's a moss uh,
Simple.
element.
Yeah, element, yes.
So the moss allows us to let go of negative things in our lives and connect with the spirit world. Be
Mhm.
gentle with yourself and your healing process. Don't judge your journey and embrace how things are meant to unfold. So if our
Wonderful.
audience happen to tune into this particular interview, maybe that's a message you were meant to get today. And
Exactly.
that may be the message you're saying, small dose, right? To
Hmm.
keep this to keep this in our head, in our brain,
In our mental, yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
so that the neuroplasticity can start to work on this new pathway of weaving into looking at our current situation or whatever the challenge is, to have a small branch
Right.
that
And the beautiful thing about that, Angela, is that when I'll give you another quick story. So here I am in the operating room. They're going to do a cesarean on my sister who's pregnant, 9 months pregnant. Okay. Because the medical team knew me, because I worked in a hospital, they invited me in the room. They're doing a cesarean. Now, I'm burnt out. I'm in burnout, okay, from the medical field. So I'm having issues with the sight of blood. I'm having issues with blood. Blood just creates negative vibrations for me when I see it, right? So I said to them, no, 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 I'll be fine. I'll be fine. So as soon as they slit her abdomen and the blood popped out, the doctor looked at me and he said to me, are you okay? And I said, oh, I'm fine. But seeing that blood created messengers, neurotransmitters, messengers in my brain that sent the message, you need to shut down. Do you get what I'm saying? So I fainted. I fainted and lost that beautiful scene, yes, because of seeing the blood. So when you look at Vibe Therapy Fingerprint Inspirations, when people look at this message and read this message, it's now creating that same reaction in the body, sending messengers throughout the body to create those healing hormones or those damaging hormones. You get me?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, this maybe if you can pop the next slide up, I think what you just said, since you showed it to me earlier on, how does it work? That touches on what you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So,
messages are presented on individual cards, like this one I just pulled out about the moss, right?
right, right.
Yeah. And how does it um the chakras, the emotions in your next slide, you had one that shows about each chakra having certain emotions
Well, there
that
you
we
go.
need to, yeah, yeah. Can you expand on that a little bit for us?
So we have more than seven chakras, but the most common that we are accustomed to is the chakras of there's seven, the throat, the crown, the heart chakra, the sacral chakra, the base chakra, and in each of these chakra areas, you have all these organs. So in thinking negatively, in in the in the act of unforgiveness, it will block these chakras. So let's talk about unforgiveness. One of the chakras that unforgiveness affects would be the solar plexus chakra right here in the heart, right? It can also affect the throat chakra, the thyroid, communication. Got it?
Hmm.
Sorry, the heart chakra is here, the love chakra. And here it can also affect our digestion, right? So
Can it
that
affect the
one,
heart then? Well, sorry, you mentioned the heart earlier.
it can
Was it
affect the
just a
heart.
slip of the tongue? It
No,
can,
yes,
right?
yes,
Because
it was. But it can also affect the heart. It can. So that unforgiveness is a transformative gift I wholeheartedly offer to myself. I offer it to myself first, then I offer it to others, right? So if I don't, and I hold on to this and sincerely believe that it's okay to hold on to it and not forgive, guess what? I can now affect the crown chakra, which is my communication with the divine, right? I can affect my throat chakra, the ability to express myself and to communicate. I can affect the heart chakra. Sorry, over here, the heart chakra. I can affect the solar plexus, which will affect my stomach, my spleen, and I can also affect my bowels, my digestion, my breathing. So I may end up breathing shallow without realizing why I'm breathing shallow. I will end up having digestive issues without realizing why do I have digestive issues. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, it's almost like our childhood, some kind of stories that we still hold on as a child. Now that we are adults, we still play back those stories. Do you have anything to share
But
about that?
I actually do have one. So I had a patient once. She was 46 years old, and she came in to me crying. She hated her sister, wanted nothing to do with her sister. And after about 4 months of working with her, we got to the heart of why she was having issues with her sister. So when they were about 6 or 7 years old, they used to play hide and seek. She would hide the candies. Her sister would find the candies and eat all of them. And she, I know it's funny, and she developed such a resentment at that age towards her sister, and didn't forgive her, didn't really feel comfortable playing with her anymore. And that grew into, I hate you. I don't
Oh,
trust you. I will not forgive you. I don't want anything to do with you. But here's the interesting thing. That didn't really hurt her sister. That was
that's
hurting
right.
her, right?
Yeah.
And that's what
Her sister was clueless,
That's
right?
right,
Yeah, so the forgiveness, because she still had this story about losing all her candies
right,
in the hide and seek game.
right. So as a result of that unforgiveness, she actually affected all her seven chakras because, 40 years is a long time to be holding on to that, right? So now
Yeah.
it had gotten to the point where it actually developed a disease pattern in her, and that's what drove her to me. And once we
Mm.
got to the heart of it, then we were able to unravel. But here's the thing, with some people, they're not as lucky because of the amount of damage that has been done over the years to these organs. They've been damaged on a cellular level. So sometimes it's difficult to revive, and other times you can revive it and move on. Yeah.
Mm. So let's take a look at the deck of cards that you have, because I've only shown the audience one of the decks. So if you have a way of showing us the full decks, that would be wonderful.
Um, there you are.
Yeah,
So
yes, yes. Yeah, can you
elaborate.
explain about this? Yeah.
So I'm so excited to actually share this because when I first started out, it was really the daily gratitude. And I was writing the daily gratitude. And then, I'm having my own experiences because even though I have written these decks of cards, am I a perfect being? Absolutely not. I am also going through my trials and tribulations. But from all of that pain and anguish and hurt, it developed into something beautiful that can actually help people. And so I'm so excited. The daily gratitude, the spiritual warfare, the success deck, gemstones. Now, I went into a store and I was demonstrating the gemstones for younger people. And there were two young ladies in there, and they wanted to see what the cards were all about. So the one lady, I told her what to do, shuffle the cards and set the intention, do the breathing, the whole bit. She did that. And the card that popped up, the three cards that popped up for her pointed to emotional and sexual abuse. But the cards didn't say that. It was the message, how she interpreted it. And then immediately she turned red, and then it opened her up to speaking. So that's a beautiful thing, Angela, is that these cards can be used by counselors, therapists, or just the individual, because you may have a story that you're not quite sure how to put it into words. You may have a story and your emotions block you from telling the story. And so with vibe therapy fingerprint inspirations, when you pick those one card, three cards, or five cards, it can reveal that story that you're needing to share, that you're needing to open up, you need to forgive, unblock the chakras, and allow the energy to flow. Because if any chakras are blocked, the energy will not flow. And that energy, that universal energy that flows, is very important for our healing because that's the vibration that our body needs. I don't know if you know that on a daily basis, our earth is actually um, is actually vibrated through I've lost my train of thought. Thunder, lightning. We get the
Yes, right, right.
energetic vibration from lightning, which is important to our bodies, right? So universal energy comes in to all seven chakras and helps our body to heal. Now, I want you to think about this. You're breathing. You and I are breathing right now. But can we feel the air as it enters our nostrils? No, we can't. We just know that we're breathing, right? It's the same thing that happens with all these seven chakras. That universal energy comes in, we get that vibrational energy, our organs needed, our brains needed. It comes in our feet, comes in the top of our head, through all seven chakras. It's very, very important. And when our energies are not flowing right because of our thoughts, because of our attitude, our ability to, our inability to forgive, then we're going to have issues. Yeah. And
Yeah, it's funny. Go ahead.
it's not something that is actually, it's easier me saying it than the action of it, because like you give the deck of cards to someone and they will go, oh yeah, 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 and they may do it for a week or may do it for a day and say, yeah, I don't have time for this. But when you stop and think about it, there are people that have developed really powerful muscle built, right? And you look at them and you're thinking, Oh, those muscles look really good. How did you do that? And then if they should tell you their story, they're going to say, well, you know what? I go to the gym every single day, or I go to the gym 3 times or 4 times a week, and I'm in the gym for 3 hours or for 2 hours, right? But we don't do that with the brain. We're not thinking that the brain is also a muscle and that we need to develop it, right? So this is where vibe therapy fingerprint inspirations comes in, is that we practice that on a daily basis, and you are developing that part of you just like you go to the gym and you're developing those muscles.
I love this. I love this. And the reason is recently I attended a talk by one of the founders for pulse electromagnetic frequency
Oh, nice.
that one of our speakers, Monica, is going to speak about this therapy. And she's the only speaker out of this summit that, like you, have a tangible tool. We can touch it, feel it, we can work with it.
Yes.
Um, Other topics has a little bit more of a mental side or energetic side that stimulates the mind
Mm-hmm.
and emotions and spirit maybe. So one of the things that this founder talked about his device is look at it like brushing your teeth, just like you were saying just now. You know, this person going to the gym, they brush their teeth. We brush our teeth hopefully twice a day, maybe more for some.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do it just by that little bit every day, imagine the niceness that you're doing to your teeth
Mm-hmm.
instead of, oh, we skipped the whole week. It's Sunday today. Let's do half an hour of teeth brushing.
Right?
Doesn't give you the same result, right? And this is a prime example you just shared.
Beautiful.
Just
So,
love it.
thank
Mhm.
you, Angela. So the cards, when you can you see it by the way, or is it blurry? There.
If you bring it a little closer, I can see it. Yes, yes, I will. Back up a little bit. Yes. Oh,
It's sort of
you know
difficult,
what? Why don't you read it to us if
but
you wish to?
I will be confident. The strength of confidence resides within me. And then we
Just
have
you
the
reading
moon.
that made me smile already.
There
Can
you
you
go.
imagine? That's a positive lift when when I get to see something or hear something like that.
Now, we have a lot of frontline workers, right? And they have to deal with a lot of people, their angst, their bad energy, and the energy will come across on the phone line, right? And
Mm,
think about you being on the phone with someone and you're yawning. What happens to them on the other end? They also start to yawn. That is a prime example that our energy can affect the person's energy on the phone,
true,
but we don't
true.
really think about it. So with the cards, when you pick a card, it's not only the words, but it's also the feel of the card. We want that soft, cushy touch, right? That's why people get pets. They get cats, they get dogs. They want to feel that soft because then it appeals to the mind of being happy, of being vibrant, right?
That's yeah,
That
yeah. A lot of
tactile feel.
people, yeah. It's just like when we're children, we have a stuffed animal. We all
Right.
have one, right?
Exactly. Right.
And yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for all your sharing today. Um, I know. Thank you so much. This is a great way for us to reach you. I can see your email and your website, www.drmaxine.org.
Mhm.
And I believe one of the bonuses that you have for us for the summit, which will be listed in the link,
Mhm.
is about inspired medicine message. Can you share about that?
So the inspired medicine messages came about when I started teaching meditation. And
Oh,
yes, and then I decided to develop inspired medicine message because when I got people into a state of lull, I thought I need to be able to help them with their confidence, with their lack of forgiveness with their healing journey, right? So then I start to speak to the organs. I start to speak to them in a different way on that level. And then people started contacting me and telling me great results that they received from listening to that. And so I continued that because it reduces anxiety. It helps them to breathe easier. It gives them more confidence and puts them in a better place.
Thank you so much for that offer, Dr. Maxine. This
Mhm.
has been such a privilege to interview you today. I have to say, I've known you for some years and I've seen your journey. There's so many stories you can share. Yeah,
Absolutely.
your life has been so eclectic, but I know everything that you've achieved, you have worked darn hard to get there.
You bet.
It didn't come easy.
It didn't come easy. And I'm so happy now to be here at this stage because now it's done. It's ready to it's ready to leave my home like butterflies and travel all over the globe. Yes. And you know, when I was creating this, I had no idea that COVID was going to hit and leave the emotional traumas all over. So this therapy really helps people. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the way I look at it, we are on a life journey to live our best lives.
Yes.
So hence the vibrant living.
Mm-hmm.
And you are supplying a tangible tool to reshape our thinking.
Yes.
A fancier word would be neuroplasticity, but
Yes.
at the end of the day, it's really changed the way you look at the world, and the world changes for you.
That's right. I'm not here to tell you about your future. That's not what the cards do. It's basically dealing with you mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Angela. It's been a pleasure.
Same here.